There was a man named Daniel. 34 years old. Successful by every standard the world uses to measure a person. Good job. Nice apartment. A full social calendar. A phone that never stopped buzzing. And yet, every single night, when the noise finally stopped and the room went quiet, Daniel felt something he couldn't name. Not sadness exactly. Not loneliness either. Something closer to disconnection. Like he had been performing all day for an audience and couldn't remember who he was when the curtain came down. So one evening, on a Tuesday, nothing special about it, Daniel did something he hadn't done in years. He turned off his phone. Closed his laptop. Sat down in his apartment with nothing but silence. And within 4 minutes, he reached for his phone again. He caught himself. Put it back down. And sat there. Uncomfortable. Restless. Wondering why being alone with himself felt so unbearable. That question changed his life. And if you've ever felt that same restlessness, this story is for you. Daniel wasn't unusual. He was just honest enough to notice what most people never stop long enough to feel. We live in a world that has declared war on silence. Every gap is filled. Every commute soundtracked. Every meal accompanied by a screen. Every quiet moment interrupted by a scroll, a notification, a podcast, a playlist. We have become so addicted to noise, external noise, that silence has started to feel like a threat. And why wouldn't it? Because silence has a way of bringing things to the surface. Old feelings. Unanswered questions. Truths we've been too busy to face. So we keep moving. Keep consuming. Keep filling the space. Daniel had a friend named Marcus, someone who had known him since college. And Marcus said something to him once that he never forgot. He said, "Daniel, you are the most connected person I know. And somehow the most lost." Daniel laughed it off that day. But the words stayed. 3 months after that Tuesday evening, Daniel's life changed in a way he didn't choose. His relationship ended. His company downsized and his role disappeared. 2 things he had built his identity around, gone within the same week. And for the first time in his adult life, Daniel had nothing to hide behind. No relationship to tend to. No career title to introduce himself with. No busy schedule to use as armor. Just himself. And time. And silence. His first instinct was to fill it. Call people. Date immediately. Apply for 50 jobs in a panic. Do something. Anything. Just don't sit in it. But something stopped him. Maybe it was exhaustion. Maybe it was the memory of Marcus's words. Maybe it was something deeper, some quiet part of him that had been waiting for exactly this moment. Whatever it was, Daniel chose differently this time. He decided to sit in the alone. Not run from it. The first week was hard. Genuinely hard. Without distraction, everything he had been outrunning caught up with him. Grief he hadn't processed. Anger he hadn't acknowledged. Fears he had buried under busyness for years. He started journaling, not because someone told him to, but because the thoughts needed somewhere to go. He started walking, long, slow walks with no destination and no headphones. Just him and the world and whatever came up. And slowly, something remarkable began to happen. Daniel started hearing himself again. Not the version of himself shaped by other people's opinions. Not the version performing for approval. Not the version running on autopilot through a life he had designed to look good from the outside. The real one. The original one. The voice underneath all the noise. He realized he didn't actually enjoy half the things he had been doing. He had been living someone else's definition of a successful life and calling it his own. He realized the relationship that ended. He had known for 2 years it wasn't right. He had just been too afraid of the silence that would follow its ending to let it go. He realized his greatest ideas, the ones that had genuinely moved his life forward, had never come in a meeting or a conversation. They had always come in the quiet. In the shower. On a walk. In the moments between. Solitude wasn't emptying him. It was showing him what was actually there. 6 months into his season of solitude, Daniel met a woman named Amara at a bookstore. Not through an app. Not at a networking event. Just, there. Both reaching for the same shelf. They talked for 2 hours standing in that aisle. And afterward Daniel noticed something different about how he showed up in that conversation. He wasn't performing. He wasn't trying to impress. He wasn't anxious about how he was landing. He was just present. Comfortable in himself. Curious about her. Not needing anything from the interaction except the interaction itself. Amara told him later. It was the most refreshing conversation she had ever had with a stranger. Because he seemed like someone who actually knew who he was. And he did. For the first time in a long time, he did. That is what solitude builds. Not isolation. Not coldness. Not withdrawal from the world. It builds a self so solid that when you re-enter the world, you bring something real into it. You stop being a mirror reflecting everyone else's energy and start being a source of your own. Daniel's story is not unique. It is just visible. Because here is what solitude teaches everyone who is brave enough to sit in it. It teaches you your own voice. When you remove all the external opinions and influences and noise, what remains is you. Your actual values. Your actual desires. Your actual non-negotiables. Most people never discover these because they never create the quiet long enough to hear them. It teaches you self-sufficiency. When you learn to enjoy your own company, truly enjoy it, you stop needing people to complete you. And paradoxically, that is when your relationships become richer. Because you are bringing a whole person to them instead of a half person looking to be filled. It teaches you where your energy actually belongs. In the quiet, you start to feel clearly which relationships drain you and which ones genuinely feed you. Which pursuits are truly yours and which ones you inherited from expectation. Solitude gives you the clarity to choose. And perhaps most importantly, it teaches you that you are enough. That you do not need constant validation, constant stimulation, constant company to be okay. You are okay. Right now. In the quiet. Alone. That is not a small thing. That is everything. Daniel is still in touch with Marcus. They have dinner once a month now, real conversation, no phones on the table. And Marcus said something to him recently that stayed with him just as long as the first thing. He said, "You seem different. Settled. Like you finally moved into yourself." Daniel smiled and said, "I just stopped running from the quiet." That is the invitation today. Not to isolate. Not to push people away. Not to pretend you don't need connection, because you do. We all do. But to carve out time, real, protected, intentional time, to be alone with yourself. Without a screen. Without noise. Without performance. To sit with who you actually are. To hear what you actually think. To feel what you actually feel. Because the relationship you have with yourself is the foundation of every other relationship in your life. And you cannot build a solid foundation in the noise. The quiet is not your enemy. It is where you find yourself. And once you find yourself, truly find yourself, you will wonder how you ever lived so long without coming home to who you are. Go find the quiet. It has been waiting for you.